With the explosion of AI, companies are firing employees left and right, and no job is safe. Amazon just cut 30,000 employees, Microsoft 20,000, and Oracle 30,000. That's literally 20% of their entire workforce. And the funny part is that could have been me, because I used to be a tech sales rep at Oracle. But fortunately for me, I left before all these layoffs started and built my online business here in Vietnam. And it's from this very YouTube channel I was able to get to 370,000 subscribers and generated over 7 figures in revenue just from content alone. Now, if you're looking to build a side hustle or an online business using AI, this is actually great news, because AI isn't just for the big corporation, it's for you and me, the everyday regular person who wants to build lean, profitable online businesses that allow you to work from anywhere in the world. Now, this isn't just a reality for myself. My clients like Sandy and Brandon are making $10,000 a month, and they started from zero, and they're able to do this because of AI. So in this video, I want to share with you what are some of the best side hustles you can get into using AI, and ultimately how you can find your path to build a massively successful one-person business that allows you to work from anywhere in the world. So let's first begin with picking your Claude side hustle. So as we get started, I want to break some limiting beliefs, because I know a lot of you guys want to build a business, but you might be paralyzed or stuck or just in your head planning all the time. So let's overcome some of these excuses, right? Some of you guys might say, oh, I'm too busy with a 9-to-5 job. Maybe you'll say, I don't have any valuable skills, or it's nobody knows who I am, and you don't have a following yet. And this is reasonable to think, but I want to share a story with one of my clients, Sandy. So for her, she was actually just a insurance sales manager doing a everyday regular job, but she really wanted to get into the AI space. So when we started working together, the first thing she asked me was, Patrick, how do I get into AI if I don't know anything about AI? Aren't, people are going to call me an imposter? And I told her, it doesn't matter. Every AI expert that you see online, they didn't know anything about AI 2 years ago, right? You can become an expert in anything you want with just a couple of months. And so she started learning some AI stuff online. And what's crazy is within the first 2 weeks of really getting into the AI automation game, I helped her get her first AI automation client for $3,300 off of an outreach. And she snowballed that success, and she didn't have any testimonials. She's never even done an AI automation before, but I taught her how to sell these skills online, and that's how she eventually got her first client. And she snowballed that into a successful YouTube channel that has over 15,000 YouTube subscribers now, and all of those really came within the last 2 months. And so the crazy part is she's making more than $10,000 a month with her AI business, and this is someone who is busy, who has a 9-to-5, has 3 kids, but she didn't make any excuses. So hopefully that inspires you to make you realize, hey, you can do this too, right? Now, when it comes to actually getting into a side hustle, there are a couple things you need to look out for, because there are many different side hustles available. Whatever idea you choose, you want to make sure you have speed to first client. So how fast can you realistically land your first high paying client, right? If it's going to take a year or 2 years before you get started, probably not the best option. Number 2 is, what's the ease to get started, right? How easy is it for you to get started even if you don't have an audience, no capital, and no technical skills? Third is, what's the total cost to launch, right? So what is the full cost of all the tools, all the time, and all the money that you have to spend in order to get things going? And finally, it's your AI proof moat. So with AI, and everyone's going to start using it, how likely is AI itself going to disrupt your business, and how likely is your competition going to just copy you and just bleed you out, right? So you want to check all these boxes to see whether or not a side hustle is good. And to do that, we're going to use the Claude side hustle matrix. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over all the top Claude side hustles that people are talking about online, and I will compare side by side which one is the best and which one makes the most sense for you. Now, the first one is going to be Etsy templates, digital products. You've seen a ton of videos on this, right? Where you're selling these $10 templates on Etsy. Well, the thing is, the speed to get your first client is kind of medium, because you have to learn all these skills to create some kind of template and put it on Etsy, and it might be a while before you get your first sale. The ease to get started, it is really easy because AI is doing all the work, right? Total cost to launch, pretty low. You just put it up. But AI proof moat is very low, meaning if you can make a template using Claude and you put it on Etsy and it sells for $10, what stops 1,000 other people doing the exact same thing and copying your templates, right? There's no defensible moat here when you're using these kind of marketplaces in this way. Now let's talk about faceless YouTube channels and any kind of UGC content creation, right? Speed to the first client, it's going to take a while before you really start making money with this, because there's so much skills you have to learn in order to get these massive views. The ease to get started, I would say it could be easy because AI is doing all the work, right? Total cost to launch, also easy because you can use so many different AI tools nowadays to get started. But the AI proof moat is just isn't there, right? Faceless, anything, anybody can just literally take your thing and copy you. So eventually you're just gonna get beat out. And there are some people that make money today, but is their business gonna be around 1 year from now? Hard to say. What about AI dropshipping, right? I would say speed to your first client or first sale is medium. You have to still learn a lot of skills, but you can run ads and get a client, right? Or a customer. Ease to get started, I would say pretty hard, right? You have to learn ads, product, landing pages, so many new skills you have to learn, even if AI is doing the work. Total cost, pretty high because you got to run ads or do some kind of content and get people in the door. AI proof moat, it's not much branding, it's drop shipping, so anybody can copy you very easily, and they will if you find any success. And what about vibe coded apps, right? Everyone's talking about that. The thing is, speed to get your first client or customer is very slow. Even though you're vibe coding something, it does take a while to still build. And the majority of people who are doing vibe coding, they don't even make $100 off their app. I would say 99% of people don't, and that's actually an official statistic. Easy to get started, still very hard to vibe code something people find useful. Total cost to launch, I would say medium. You still got to pay for servers and things like that, but it's not incredibly high these days, right? AI proof moat, very low. It's all about distribution. Anybody can copy your product. So it's hard to defend unless you're really good at marketing, right? Now, let's talk about this one, which I think is actually pretty decent, and that's the AI automation agency, right? You've seen so many videos on YouTube talking about this. Speed to first client, I would say medium because you can reach out to people, some of the automation, just like my client Sandy did, so it works, right? The ease to get started, I would say it is medium because you don't have to be super technical. You can be good at sales, getting meetings, and then once they give you the money, find someone technical to do the work. Total cost to launch, it's pretty much zero, right? Because if you can get a meeting, email somebody, it doesn't cost anything. And AI proof moat, I would say it's pretty low because unless you're building a personal brand around your business, anybody can just copy the same thing you're doing, right? It's still better, I would say, than the other options, but not perfect quite yet. So now you might be wondering, okay, so what is the best opportunity if you're trying to get into this AI game, right? And I personally think it's going to be the AI services and a personal brand combination. Okay. Now, AI powered service is pretty much just any service you're providing where you're using AI to fulfill. It could be script writing, email copywriting. Technically, an AI automation would be a service as well. And so I'll dive a little bit deeper into that. Speed to first client is very fast. When you're selling a service that's not really that technical, you're just solving a problem. And it's almost the same as just selling something without AI, right? But AI is a hot word. It allows you to get in the door a lot faster. Easy to get started, very easy. When you're selling services, there's nothing really to build. You're just a promise on a piece of paper. You get paid and you do the work, right? Total cost to launch, practically zero when you're selling a service. Okay, it's a promise that you will fulfill once they give you the money. And AI proof moat, very high, meaning if you have a personal brand and you build it around this kind of service, then it's defensible because even when everyone's doing all this AI stuff, distribution is the name of the game. So if you have a YouTube channel, a LinkedIn profile, anywhere where you're building a personal brand, this is what's going to allow you to build a long-term brand for years to come, right? Not just flash in the pan because AI is hot. Now, I want to dive a little bit deeper into exactly what an AI-powered service is so you get a clear understanding of how you can actually do it, right? It's really just any service you provide using AI. It's like anything where AI does the heavy lifting, right? So it could be you're helping someone with LinkedIn content. Maybe you're doing YouTube thumbnails and scripts, or maybe it's email marketing, webinars, or an AI-powered DM setter. You can see that all of these examples that I'm giving you, they actually can be done without AI. But the thing is, with AI, it really does like 80-90% of the work. And that's the beauty of this opportunity right now. So the difference between an AI automation agency and an AI-powered service is that an AI automation agency is just one specific type of an AI-powered service, right? You're going into a business, you're automating something so that a human doesn't have to do it, right? That's just one type of service. But an AI-powered service, it's literally any service that exists where you're using AI to deliver, right? And moving forward from this point on, I would say pretty much everything is going to be an AI powered service because why wouldn't you use AI, right? Because this is just where the future is headed. And the cool part about this is when you're selling an AI powered service, you're selling first and you're building later. You're not wasting 6 months of your time to build the perfect product, right? You're talking to customers, seeing if they want to buy it. If they give you money, then you deliver, okay? And it's as simple as picking a service, landing a client, and using Claude to deliver the work, and you just get paid to learn from your clients. And that's how my clients like Sandy did it, right? She didn't know anything about AI automations when she got started, but this company needed specifically SEO, right? And they wanted to use AI to generate these blogs. And she was like, okay, well, I think I can do it. And so they gave her a shot. They paid her, $3,000 something per month. And then she delivered results so good, in fact, that she bumped the pay to $5,500 and expanded more of what she's doing for that specific company. Now, I want to explain the whole personal branding aspect of this, because even with a service, eventually it becomes commoditized, right? People can copy what you do. So any product or service in the era of AI can be copied. So the defensible moat is actually distribution, meaning it's your ability to get attention online with content and finding ways to differentiate yourself from everybody else by showcasing your personality, your expertise, and your client results, similar to how I have a YouTube channel here, right? So the markets and technology and the trends are always going to change, but when you have a strong personal brand, you can adapt to anything and practically sell any kind of offer. So for me, for example, if you're curious on behind the scenes of what a 370,000 personal brand on YouTube can actually do, I have a few different things I sell. Number one is Founder X, which is helping people probably like you guys, quit their 9-to-5s and start a business. And so we have a whole program for that. I also have Founder X Plus, where I specifically target businesses and provide a deeper level of service, which is very different from helping someone start from zero, right? So, and in the future, as I become bigger and I work with different people, I can create AI softwares and really sell any kind of AI powered service in the future if I partner with different people. There will always be people who are willing to fulfill and do the work. The hardest part about making money online, I would say, is getting the customers. And that's why I'm so focused on building a personal brand so that people actually come to you instead of you always having to chase them. Now, real quick, if you want to learn how to build this type of business like me, where you have a personal brand and you're selling AI powered services, I actually have a free live training coming up where I'm going to break down exactly how you can find your business idea, how you can build a personal brand, how you can sign high ticket clients, and how you can deliver all of this using AI, especially using Claude. So if you want to sign up for this live training, I put a link in the description, and spots are limited. So make sure you secure your spot as soon as possible before we run out, and I will see you live. So now that you understand the idea of an AI powered business and also personal brand, the next step is actually finding your unique AI business idea, because there's so many ideas that you can choose, but you got to find the one that works for you. So the easiest way to think about it is you need to be selling either a skill that you already have. Maybe you learn something at your full-time job, or you learn something on the side, or it's going to be skills that you desire to acquire. And I would say for a majority of skills, it really takes 3 months of hard work and dedication to become proficient, right? And even in the AI space, every AI expert you see, whether it's me or the other guys that have been doing it for just like 1 or 2 years, right? We all knew nothing about AI back then. We all became experts just from putting out content, trying things ourselves, and sharing our journey. So if you're starting out and you're like using Claude for the first time, understand it's okay, because probably like 99% of the world hasn't used Claude in general, right? So this is your opportunity to get ahead of the curve while it's still hot, and not a lot of people have realized how big this opportunity is. I mean, for Sandy, she literally went from 200 subscribers to over 15,000 subscribers in the last 2 months, and makes 10K a month as someone who was considered a beginner just a couple months ago. So if she can do it while working a full-time job, I don't see why you can either. Now, in order to find your business idea, I want to share this concept with you called the Ikigai. And the Ikigai is really just a Japanese concept that helps you find your reason for being, meaning it aligns what you love, what you're good at, what you can be paid for, and what the world needs. When you find the intersection of these 4 things, you're going to get one step closer to figuring out what kind of business idea you can do that actually makes money, but is also something that you enjoy, because you don't want to put yourself in another job. Now, I have a free gift for you and created a custom Claude skill where you can download it using the link in the description, double click it, and it will automatically install into your Claude. And what it's going to do is we're going to help you find your business idea, specifically an AI powered business idea. So once you actually type this in, it's going to ask you a series of questions. And then from here, if you just keep answering the questions, it's going to pull it all together and create your Ikigai. Now, I actually created an example for you just to show you how this works. And I actually created an offer that solves one of my problems, right? So as a YouTuber, one of the biggest challenges I have is script writing, because sometimes when I sit down and write an entire script, it takes quite a while, it could take many hours. And if I had someone doing this for me or helping me do it, I would be willing to pay thousands of dollars to help me write these scripts every single month, right? And so if someone created this kind of service for me and they were actually good, and even if they use AI to do all of the work, I would pay for that result. So let's say we have a YouTube script writer, they're getting in the game. They want to use AI to help, creators write their scripts, and they filled out this Ikigai. What happens at the end, and what is this going to look like? So once you fill out the Ikigai, it's going to give you some kind of report that looks like this. So it's going to be designed already because I already prompted it in this way. And so this is going to be the one-person AI-ed YouTube engine for ad agency founders, right? So this example, I said, hey, let's try to do YouTube script writing specifically for agencies, ad agencies, and let's just run with it, right? So it's going to give me a score of how good this opportunity might be, recommended price point of how much I should be charging per client, and then what would it take for me to get to $10,000 a month, which is pretty much just 5 clients, right? So here you see the Ikigai of what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, what can be paid for, putting it all together to find something that fits your specific needs. Now, using the skill I gave you, it's going to also do extra research to figure out, what are some angles that are already saturated, because yeah, there are YouTube script writers out there. So how are you going to differentiate yourself from everybody else? What are the underserved gaps? What are people saying on Reddit, X, Twitter, all the different forums, so you can find the specific language to see where the demand is at. And then we're also going to dive into which platform you should be building on, right? And so for this particular offer, it's telling me, hey, you should definitely be on YouTube, which makes sense because if you're script writing and you have a YouTube channel, it's just proof that you are who you say you are, right? And not only that, but it's going to give me all the different competitors who are doing something similar to what I want to do, so I can find a way to not compete directly against them, but find a blue ocean and do something a little bit different that maybe these guys aren't willing to do. And so if you kind of go through this whole thing, you see how in-depth it is of going what are other people charging and all this kind of stuff. And it does the research for you, right? Then it gives you okay, what are the different offer possibilities that you can sell, and it also puts together a 30-day plan of what you should be doing every day in order for you to get clients, even if you're starting from zero. So the reason why I created this skill is because I know a lot of you guys, you really get in your head sometimes, right, of I don't know what idea I should do, or I don't know if it makes money, how do I know if I'm gonna love it? Well, if you do this exercise, all your questions and objections and reasons for why you can't get started should just disappear. So again, if you want to find your AI powered service, check the Ikigai skill using the link in the description. So once you have your Ikigai and you have an offer, the next natural step is for you to get your first AI client. So when it comes to getting your clients, there's really only 2 things you're really doing here. Number 1 is building a personal brand, whether it's on LinkedIn, X, YouTube, doesn't really matter. It depends on the offer you're selling. The second is outbound, reaching out to people. And even if they don't know who you are, just do it cold and get a meeting with them. Because if you can get meetings with people, you have an opportunity to sell. So even if your close rate was 10%, well, if you get 10 meetings, you're going to close 1 person, and that's a good start because that's way better than 0. So your success when you're doing this kind of business is how many meetings can you get per month, and that's really all you need to keep track of. And a lot of people, I know they have misconceptions about outbound. They'll say, oh, it doesn't work anymore, it's too saturated, or I tried it once and it didn't work for me. But the reality is there's so many people doing LinkedIn outbound, doing cold emails, it absolutely works. How would I know? Because I do it myself still, right? So I have a sales team, and like I said before, we reach out to people in the B2B space and we help them with personal branding, YouTube, all this kind of stuff. And we literally hit them up cold. These guys have never seen my YouTube channel, and we hit them up, we send them a Loom video, and then they watch the Loom video and they're very impressed, and then they're like, okay, let's book a call, and then we get them on the phone and we close them for a high ticket deal. It's as simple as that. Now, when it comes to outbound, the most important thing I would say is actually list building. Most people get this completely wrong, okay? So when you're building a list of people you want to reach out to, the most important part to succeed is finding signals. You need to be finding these signals or indicators that would increase the chance someone would be interested in buying your services. So an example of some indicators might be maybe they actively post on LinkedIn in the last 14 days, maybe they run Facebook ads, maybe they complain about a specific problem on X or LinkedIn, right? Maybe they can't find engineering talent. Maybe they're really big on YouTube, but you want to sell them some kind of LinkedIn ghostwriting stuff and they're not on LinkedIn, right? And so with AI nowadays, you can go so granular, so specific to find these signals so that when you reach out to people, it's not just a random person, oh, let's hit up everyone in real estate. Find these specific signals that would increase the chance they will respond. And next, I'm going to show you how to use AI to do this. Specifically, we're going to use a combination of Claude And then we're also going to use its integration with Apollo. And Apollo is actually our partner for this video, and it is a product that I do recommend, especially when it comes to finding a bunch of contacts and also doing outbound, especially when it comes to cold emailing. So let's go into my Claude and I'll show you exactly how this works. So basically the new innovation now is that Claude has become like the connector of all different apps. And Apollo is essentially like a go-to market software where if you want to do outbound, you want to reach out to people, you want to get some sales, Apollo is one of the best tools to use. So they built an integration that goes directly into Claude where you can do all your work right in Claude. So you see, I already have these skills where it's like Apollo sequences, Apollo find people, find companies, contact details. So if I use any of these skills, I can say, hey, give me a list of these kind of people and I'll show you how this works. So going off the idea that, hey, maybe I'm going to write scripts for YouTubers, right? And help people who want to do YouTube but aren't good at it. So I'll say, okay, let's use the Apollo find people and find businesses. So find me creators and businesses who make more than 100K per month but are not good at YouTube and get very little views. I want to help them ideate and write scripts. Give me 10 people, right? So it's just an example. Basically how I do it is we first test it to see like what this list looks like with 10 people. And then we work out all the kinks and the bugs. Sometimes it's not a fit, sometimes it is a fit. And then once we get a clean list, then I'll go ahead and do like a batch of 100 people or 300 people, right? So you want to start small first because you have to use credits and stuff like that to get the data. So you want to start small, then expand once you get some results. So when I do this, what happens is that it's finding all these people that fit my criteria of like agencies that I want to help with YouTube, and they all suck at YouTube. So that's why they're more likely to respond. So it found all these founders for me. It put all the companies. It showed whether they have a YouTube channel or not. Some of them have like very low subs. Some of them don't have YouTube channels. And then from there, it went ahead and put it into a list for me on Claude, right? Once I have this list of people, I want to do some account research to understand what are their problems, go a little bit deeper. Maybe I want to write a custom message or maybe use AI to write the message. So we need more data on these people. So I went ahead and used the Apollo account research skill, and then I went ahead and created all these different outreach angles, right? So, based on the company, the person, it's giving me all these cold email angles that I can take to make it more tailored for them, right? Then from there, obviously you need to get their contact information, right? So you can actually enrich right into Claude, and then essentially you're going to find all these different people's emails and their phone numbers, and then you can contact them, right? And then finally the sequencing, if you use the /Apollo sequence, you can add these particular contacts that you just did research on into any campaign that you have within Apollo. So you see, this is really the future of how people are going to be using AI, where you're just talking to Claude, trying to figure out who's going to be the best fit for your offer, and it's going to go back and forth and tell you what works, what doesn't. You can find the right information and use the tools within Apollo all from Claude. It's crazy, right? This is how the future is going to be when it comes to starting these profitable one-person businesses. And the best of all, like if you get lost or you get stuck, you literally just ask Claude like what you should do next or what it recommends for you, and then you get yourself unstuck so that you can continue and get clients. So if you want to give Apollo a try for yourself, I actually put a link in the description for you to check it out and try it for yourself, and let me know what you think. So obviously when you get started, the easiest way to get clients is just to outreach them. Don't worry about having a personal brand quite yet. You don't need a big one in order to just reach out to clients cold. For Sandy, for example, literally she had no following and someone paid her $3,000 a month for her AI automation. Now, once you do start getting clients and you're getting money in the door, then it actually does make sense to focus on your personal brand, right? Whether it's like LinkedIn, X, YouTube, it really depends on where your audience is. I personally favor LinkedIn, mainly because you don't have to have a lot of followers and you can DM people on LinkedIn as well on top of cold emailing. And YouTube, right? Because YouTube here, when you can post at least one video per week, it can compound into hundreds of thousands of subscribers. And, because of my YouTube channel, we're literally getting a lot of book calls every single day where our salespeople, their calendars are booked out to the max right now. We're like figuring out like how to hire more people. It's because I created a brand, right? Where people come to me, we're getting like tens of thousands of emails every month. People come into a live webinar, getting the lead magnets, booking calls. And this is the power of building a personal brand. So yes, my brand allows me to attract people by the hundreds of thousands, but at the same time, for specific targeted people in the B2B space, we still reach out to them because, you know, it's like if you know who you want to work with, why not just reach out to them directly? All right, so now you have the complete framework on how to choose the right Claude side hustle for you, why AI powered services and building a personal brand is going to be the holy grail of AI side hustles, and exactly how you can even find your first clients just using tools like Apollo to reach out to them. Now, you might have different questions like, okay, like what if my idea is not good enough, or how do I know if it's going to work? Can I trust AI completely? And I totally understand where you're coming from. This is why I actually created the program Founder X, where I help people quit their 9-to-5 jobs and build an AI powered service business as well as a personal brand, so they can actually build a business where they can work from anywhere in the world as long as they have an internet connection and a laptop. So if you want some help and guidance on your journey, you can actually book a call with me and my team using the link in the description, where we'll help you map out a custom growth plan and guide you on what the next steps should be for you to actually build this kind of business. And don't forget, I also have that free live training coming up. So if you're not ready for a call yet and you want to join the live training with me, feel free to check that out. Now, if you want to just check out another YouTube video, check out this one right here, where I show you how to build a profitable one-person business using AI.